Three things that make Hugo Ekitike to Liverpool a game-changing signing. A signing which will be feared across Europe. A signing which maybe allows Liverpool to put one hand on the Premier League trophy before the season even starts. Now, Hugo Ekitike is a very unique profile. But when you look at some of the business that Liverpool have made, on top of having one of the best squads in the Premier League, this team is truly scary. And Arne Slot is building himself a team which could go out and dominate the Premier League for the next few years. From the addition of somebody like Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, having somebody like Mo Salah, a team that's been there, done it before, tasted silverware, and still hungry for more, it's about to be scary for every team in the Premier League. Now, this video will break down who Hugo Ekitike is, why he's such a special, unique profile, and how tactically he could fit into Arne Slot's Liverpool. Now, let's start off tactically and what makes Hugo Ekitike such a game changer. Now, Hugo Ekitike can easily slot into the number 9 position in Arne Slot's 4-2-3-1 as a focal point, a connector of play. But what makes this signing a game changer? Like, there's a reason why I said at the beginning of the video, this will be a front line which is feared. If you think back to recent time, there's something about this PSG team which everyone loves in the world. And there's something about this PSG team which makes them so difficult to come up against. They've got themselves an attacking trio that constantly interchanges with one another. Having players that are versatile all over the pitch, players that can interchange with one another, it keeps the opposition guessing and it allows you to exploit the opposition in a variety of different ways depending on your personnel. So it could be a 4-2-3-1. But also, on another day, look at that left-hand side. We all know Cody Gakpo, he can play on the left. He can play in that central 10, and he can also lead the line. The exact same thing can be said about Florian Wirtz. During his time at Bayer Leverkusen, there were times where he played in the 10, and at times he played on the left and on the right-hand side. Then, you've got Ekitike. Whilst his time at Frankfurt, in particular, when Omar Mamouche was around, he would play on the left-hand side with Omar Mamouche leading the line, and them two constantly interchanging one another. Now imagine you were an opposition player. In the first half an hour, you're coming up against Cody Gakpo. In the second half an hour, you're coming up against Florian Wirtz. And then in the final half an hour, when you're tired and you're fatigued and you're chasing the game, you're coming up against Hugo Ekitike. They've all got that technical ability in tight areas. They can all carry the ball. They can all play make from all over the park. This will make Liverpool have a front line which no defence in the world wants to come up against. Now let's look at his profile. What also makes his profile a game-changing signing? I feel like when it comes to Hugo Ekitike, if there's one player I want to try and strike some comparison with, it's Bobby Firmino. Now, of course, they are of different physiques, of different builds, but I mean a central player that can play as a focal point, play as a connector of play, but somebody with that dribbling in tight areas, somebody that can hold up the ball and wait for his teammates to push higher up the field, somebody that can attract all the attention whilst allowing the players out wide to make the run inwards. That is Hugo Ekitike. But he's more than that. I feel like in comparison to Bobby Firmino, he is far more physical, far faster. And when you look at this Arne Slot team, the way they can just exploit and kill teams on the transition, the way they can play on the front foot, the way they can play vertical, knowing that they've got the physicality of somebody like Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, Florian Wirtz. When you add Hugo Ekitike, a player that's physically gifted, but at the same time technically gifted, we can see from these photos, he can play as a connector, dropping deep, holding up the ball, taking it on the half turn, feeding it into his teammates. He can be the player that runs the channels for Liverpool, allowing somebody like Mo Salah or Florian Wirtz to tuck inside. He can carry the ball. He's got those long strides which make it so difficult. Like, just imagine Yaya Toure, prime Yaya Toure in the Premier League, carrying the ball in the centre of the field. Nobody could tackle him. Even when they get close to him, those long strides, those long arms, it makes it so difficult to take him down. Apply all of that to Hugo Ekitike, on top of the technical ability, on top of the fact that he can interchange with his teammates. Like, for £80 million, Liverpool have signed themselves a striker, an attacker that's gifted in so many different ways. He's gifted in terms of his versatility. He's very flexible in the final third. He's gifted physically. He's gifted technically. And Arne Slot, once he integrates a player like him with Florian Wirtz, with the goal-scoring machine of Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo, this is a front line that now has everything. Like, when you look at your front line, what do you expect? Goals? It has goals. You expect some creativity? It has creativity. You expect some X factor in the final third? Some dynamism? Some entertainment? this entire Liverpool front line has it all. And there's a reason why I said at the beginning of the video, maybe, just maybe, this is the signing that allows Liverpool to put one hand on a back-to-back Premier League trophy before the season even starts. So to conclude, what Liverpool fans should expect from somebody like Hugo Ekitike. I've just sat down and broken down his entire game, but you should definitely expect to have yourself an attacker, which is very different to somebody like Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez is a bit more chaotic. Darwin Nunez requires the game to be played in a very vertical manner. He's a striker that requires service. Hugo Ekitike, you could say, is the complete opposite. He's a striker where you don't always have to go long to find him. He's a striker that can comfortably drop deep, play in those congested areas, create those central overloads which allow every team to sustain and maintain pressure. And it also moves the opposition, creating space for your teammates to exploit. So he brings something very different to Darwin Nunez in that sense. Secondly, he's a bit more potent in the final third. He's not a player that shoots much, but when he does shoot, he tends to score. But I feel like in the final third, having yourself a striker that can score, but that can also play make, it will add 5, 7, 8 goals to Mo Salah's list. It will add 5, 7, 8 goals to Florian Wirtz, to Cody Gakpo. It doesn't matter who scores, as long as the whole team is scoring and the team is winning games. Now, if you're new to Hashball Extra, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, always engage in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another one.